Hello, ladies, gentlemen, gamers and thamers alike. Welcome to the live stream Q&A for the debut of Hero Sojourn, aka Vivian Chase, aka Thick Thighs, Thin Patience. I'm here with a wonderful panel of people here. I'm here with content creator and Toronto native Finding Kiki. I'm here with Dion Rogers, the art director, and as you already know, Jeff Goodman, the lead hero designer. Thank you guys for all being here. And how are you on this glorious day?
Hey, good morning. Yeah,
Awesome. Glad to be
doing
here.
well.
So
Yeah, thank you for
excited.
having us.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are having me. I'm the one who is blessed right now, and we are all blessed by this beautiful hero right here. So I just want to get into it. Everybody's been waiting for Sojourn, her debut probably about 3 years ago. We've been waiting for this whole time. And I know, Chad, I know you guys have been waiting for this as well. So we are here to give you all the information you could possibly get for now on the newest hero to Overwatch. And not to mention, we have a wee bit of a surprise for you guys. I know you guys have been waiting for some content. You've been craving it. You've been wanting it. You've been asking for it. And you're excited for the beta that's coming in 2 weeks. But, I figured we'd give you a little appetizer before we give you the main meal. Don't you think? I think you guys are a little bit hungry, especially those on the West Coast who haven't had their breakfast yet, maybe. So I'd like to introduce a little bit of a surprise for you guys. I think you guys might want to see, I don't know. Are you guys okay with us looking at a little gameplay? How you guys feel about that? I think we can give that away?
Oh yeah.
How about we watch?
Yeah,
How
let's
about we
do
watch
it.
a little gameplay? Yeah.
Down.
How about
This
we
is what
watch a
we're
little
waiting
gameplay
for.
from her? Yeah. Why we? You know what? Let's not wait. Let's show us some Sojourn.
Sojourn. Engaging. The world could always use more heroes. If only it were that easy. After all, heroes aren't born. They're made. Attack with me! Not on my watch.
I cannot be stopped! Fusing no KO!
Canadian hospitality.
Enemy forces incoming! I'll clear a path!
Sojourn. Engaging. Coming through! Ha! Disrupting. Breaking them down. Nice work, team. Keep it moving. We're playing by my rules. Railgun powered and ready to fire. Now or never. Never tell me the odds. I already know them.
Let's go! In the name of everything that is holy, that is something that we all desperately needed. Sojourn
man.
is destroying everyone in Toronto, and I'm sorry about your city, Kiki, but
Listen,
that
I'm happy to be there. I can't wait.
Wrecking Ball had to go. Wrecking Ball had to go.
Or Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, Dion, Jeff,
I agree.
talk to us. What is happening? Like that's insane. That's crazy. Like, tell us what's going on.
Oh man, I'm so glad to have her out here now and people can see what she's about and how she works and everything. She's been incredibly fun to work on and just super fun to play, of course, and just get we've had this alpha running for a little bit and getting feedback on her and making changes and stuff. It's been kind of a whirlwind, but I love her. She's great.
Yeah, I'm glad that finally people can see more detailed look at her. We've been hinting
Look at
at her
her!
for a little while, so
Like,
soon
we
it'll be into
won.
more people's hands. Yeah.
Oh my God, we won today. We won. Kiki, we won.
Finally.
We won.
Oh my gosh. I was so excited that, we're finally going to get a Black woman in Overwatch. And then on top of that, to hear that she's from Toronto, like,
Yeah.
it's,
Oh my God.
I'm so excited. I don't even play DPS like that, but hey, we're going to start.
You will know, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
me
think-
too, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think especially for Kiki and I, we're both mainly tank support players. So the
Mhm.
fact that we realized that Sojourn was a DPS, that was huge for us. We were like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's it. We
Yeah.
taking over. That's it.
I've been
but that
looking
would
for a
probably lead
DPS
us to
player.
yeah, like we're like, we're not in silver anymore, not anymore. But I think that leads us to our first question. After seeing that gameplay and seeing her style, her speed, and everything, I just want to know Can you give us a wee bit of a hint on her backstory? Like, we know her name is Vivian Chase. We know that she is a cybernetic soldier. We know that she has a nice little gun, a rail gun. She can slide across Toronto like she's skating. Can you give us a little bit of a hint? Can you give us a little bit of a taste on what her backstory is?
Uh, yeah. Yesterday we released our origin story on YouTube, so you can get a little more details on her backstory. We actually have a novel coming out later this year that's dedicated to Sojourn, which will detail her kind of adventures when she was originally in Overwatch. And
Wow.
obviously, there's a few more things in the future that you will see as we start to release more things for Overwatch 2. Sojourn basically was one of the founding members in Overwatch. She was around during their golden age. She hung out with those guys until probably right before the Omnic Crisis, based on the original game, and then she ultimately became one of the commanders in Overwatch. So I think you'll be able to see this throughout the year as we release a little bit more details about her.
Oh man, that's just so good. Like, it's just I think I enjoy especially the fact that she's been there from the beginning. So
Right.
it just gives me hope that her story is going to be very developed. Like, she's going to be very well done. But we'll get to more into that sort of particular creative process later. But I think that kind of leads me to my next question. What was the creative reasoning behind her? Because based on what we've seen here, her kit is probably the most unique kit in the game. I mean, first of all, we're going to probably get to not really so much the elephant of the room, just the fact that, she is the first Black female hero in Overwatch. And this is after 6 years of waiting. So what was the creative reasoning behind having her be a Black woman and a railgun?
Yeah.
Like, a railgun? Hello?
So
like, that's insane.
We can dig into the railgun a bit with Jeff, but I could talk a little bit to the creative reasonings behind her. But you guys know it's been too long. We need a strong Black African American female in the game.
Yes.
When we initially started to design heroes for Overwatch, Sojourn was in that list. We looked at the cast, we saw a gap there, but we wanted her not to feel random. She is a meaningful addition to the cast of Overwatch. So took us a little longer than we expected, obviously, to get her out, but that, we wanted to make sure she was awesome. She had the same level of detail that we would give to any hero, more in a lot of ways. She was super fun. Jeff and his team worked hard to make sure this character was very fun to play. We were inspired by a lot of, different African American female leads in our industry and entertainment. We could talk about it a bit more as we get into the creative things, but we definitely we felt Overwatch is our chance to share a character of this type and really reach a broader audience, something that our community can relate to, a character that they can connect with a little bit more. This is what we continue to kind of develop as you see more things released for Sojourn. As for the railgun, we're big fans of
the railgun.
That's exactly the kind of reaction we're hoping for. Actually, that's kind of what we were thinking too. So, we develop heroes a lot of different ways. Usually, we try to find like one kind of core thing to sort of rally a design around. Either it's like an ability, like in Doomfist's case, it was like, well, we should do this big super punch thing and like make his whole kit kind of support that and how that works. So we're looking for in Soldier's case, we're looking for what would be a really cool weapon we haven't played with yet. I mean, we started working on Overwatch. We checked a lot of like really sort of common checkboxes of really cool weapons like sniper rifles and rocket launchers and stuff. That's kind of how Widowmaker and Pharah were born, around that weapon. So kind of had that mentality going into this character of like, what would be a really cool weapon? And we tried the railgun right at the beginning, pretty much early, because it was like you were so excited. Exactly, kind of our opinion on it too. Like, man, we haven't done that. It was sort of like a little scary because it's like, I mean, railguns are kind of OP.
Yeah,
like, super OP. It's ridiculous.
Back to Quake days and stuff. Yeah. So we tried it out kind of as is, actually, just kind of like, let's just do this railgun, like exactly as expected. Probably won't work, but let's just try it. And it was kind of a catastrophe of balance. Like, there's just no way you could just fire like essentially widow shots, like with no cooldown or anything, just constantly. So but we were pretty hyped on the whole idea. So we spent a lot of time figuring out how to make her kit work really well, and ultimately, I think we found the solution we really like. So, um, you know, we ended up just just falling in love with the railgun, and I hope we did it justice. Where a lot of us were playing FPSs for a long time. We played a lot of Quake 2. I guess I'm really dating myself now if I go back to Quake 2 and
It's
stuff.
fine.
But Quake
It's
2,
fine.
Quake 3, yeah, like days like that are amazing. I mean, railguns have been around even post then, so hopefully we're doing the railgun FPS justice.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, as a big railgun fan, like just sci-fi and like you mentioned Quake and just seeing how undoubtedly evil that gun is, I was so excited to use it, like to want to use it. It just I was like, it's a railgun! Like it's so simplistic, my reaction, so primal, but I'm like, it's a railgun! Like it's and I was speaking to Kiki about it, and I was like, they picked literally probably one of the more unique weapons you could possibly give a character. And speaking of which, like evil, and actually also Kiki, because Kiki brought up an excellent question. Um, who is Sojourn working for? I know we're gonna try not to.
Yes.
I know you don't want to give away a bit of the lore, but it's interesting because I know based on the lore trailer, she obviously worked for Overwatch. She obviously was the captain. She led a lot of missions very successfully. She has a long history with them, but you know, we were kind of interested. You know, did she ever work for Talon? Does she have that back history? Does she have any feelings towards them? Maybe she's a double
Yeah.
agent, or is there something that you can't reveal yet? We know we put a lot into her story, so we figure, is there any complexity that you can share with us?
Yeah, she's definitely a good guy. She hasn't worked for Talon.
Mm.
She was a part of Overwatch. She has her reasons for stepping away for a little while. Uh, Usually when we develop the game storyline, we try to get a pretty broad history and pick a part of that history to start the game. The game kind of starts in the middle of our current story, the live game. So it didn't feature Sojourn. Obviously, we didn't think it would take so long, but now you'll start to see Overwatch 2 will start to fulfill some of that missing story links. But she's a good guy. She's definitely fighting for on the side of justice when it comes to heroic work, basically.
Excellent. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me a good double agent, but it's just nice to know. It's just nice to see that we know where she stands and know what she fights for. So that's always fun.
Yes, especially with like we know what happened with Baptiste and how at first he was with Talon. He
right.
slowly
we were like
became
boy.
Right. So that's why I was just like, maybe there's gonna be something else with with her coming in.
Yeah.
No, she's definitely 100% a good guy, and you'll see right there. We got some cool stories coming up for
There's
her.
a lot there.
I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a lot
I
there.
can't wait.
We're finally excited that we can start sharing it along the way.
Okay.
And it's great because I could see it in you guys. Like you wanted to do this for so long, and it's just nice to see. And I know the community especially has just been waiting for a crumb of content, and their patience has so far been rewarded, and it's really appreciated. And especially going back to Sojourn's kit with the railgun, which I'm going to call it exactly that and that pronunciation from now on, and you can't stop me. Again, her kit entirely is probably, based on what we've seen, one of the most unique kits in the game. You got Anna's kit, which is pretty damaging based on how you play her, but then you have Sojourn, and already people are seeing it and losing their minds just like we were. And I think you probably already answered this already kind of a bit earlier, but were there any other were there any other reasons why, forgive me, due to the design of the railgun? I'm just so excited because I'm like railgun.
You got this. You got this.
Yeah, I'm just like, just what went behind the design of it? Like just the way that she was built. Like how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so I mean, I mentioned a lot of it, but also there's a lot of kind of testing that goes into this, and honestly, going into alpha, I think we were super kind of worried. I'm still a little worried, if I'm being honest, because it's pretty hard to tune that weapon. We tend to probably, I'm sure the chat will laugh at this and everything, but we tend to try to find the fun of something really aggressively in lieu of balance sometimes. Like we try to make things balanced as best we can. Often it's like definitely a goal, but it's not the primary goal, because I think we would have a much watered down game if we prioritize balance above all else. So we try to keep the railgun as strong as it can be, and a lot of that hopefully shows. And then the alpha, I think it pretty much immediately showed. Everyone was just like, this is the most OP thing you guys have ever made.
You did. I mean, anybody who knows a railgun knows that that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, we've toned it down a little bit, but there's been a lot of testing in this, and I've said this before, but our sort of internal meta is kind of a lot different than the external meta. So
Oh yeah.
a lot of times we think we know what's going to be good, and we think we know how things are going to play, but once it hits, outside of our team, we don't actually know what's going to
You're
happen.
just like,
Yeah.
So that happened. Did you want to add to that, Dion, or?
No, I agree with Jeff. Internally, we just wanted her to be as fun as possible, and sometimes that makes her OP. You have a Widowmaker shot every 10 seconds and highly mobile. But I think we're going to find a nice sweet spot on her while maintaining that really fun kind of railgun gameplay.
That's what the beta's
fair.
for, right?
Yep.
Exactly. That's what testing's for. Trial and error. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And
Well,
again,
we
2
were
weeks, guys.
surprised. When you get a little higher level players playing. Oh
You're
my
just like,
god!
You're just like sitting there like, what have we done? What have we done?
Thanks for me.
Thanks for me. But yeah, actually getting back to you, Dion. And I'm a journalist by nature, so I'm gonna try to dig as much as possible to get some crumbs, get some lows. But we just looked at her lovely design. Like, is there anything in her design that can give us hints about her lore? Are there any parts of her origin story that are in her design that we can probably guess at?
Yeah, you definitely can see she obviously has a bit of cybernetics going on in her kit. Just a touch,
Just a little bit.
And you also can see it's a part of her abilities as well. The slide she does is powered by some of those cybernetic legs she has. But it's definitely a bit of a spoiler to learn exactly how she ended up where she is now. It's something she's come to terms with, actually.
I tried, chat.
Tried. Thing. But it'll happen.
Yeah.
Slowly over time, we will share more and more. She has a deep, rich story, which I hopefully you can see. I'm kind of decided to share it, and I'm really bad at giving spoilers.
You're worried about it,
but I don't want to spoil this one because I think that the narrative team has done an incredible job of making this deep, rich narrative that's connected to the lore of Overwatch, and I think we've done this character justice. Creating this African American female hero that's strong, and she's connected with all the heroes in the cast, the major cast at least. She's at the center of the story for Overwatch 2. It's going to be cool. Yeah.
If she's not on the box, I'm going to be very upset. I'm just saying.
She has to be.
She's not on the box. She has to be on the box.
We have some cool promotional art coming out soon for her.
See, I got something. Yeah. All right. I got something. All right, cool. And actually, it leads to the next question, but I guess it's the same one. But I can probably modify that a little bit. How do you feel like designing Sojourn in general? Like, I know, like you mentioned before, just having the lore have a big part in her design, of course, like with any other character you're going to create. Any character is going to have any scars or any design. It's going to tell a story. Seeing somebody, even as human beings, showing up, you already tell a story just by being here. And I think it's especially important, for African American, for Black people, for anyone to, because in the world we live in, when we show up, we have a story. That's who we are. So I wanted to know how you felt designing her, knowing that how important this was going to be.
Right. Yeah, and I think the team together, we knew the importance of adding this character to the game. And we wanted to make sure, I kind of mentioned earlier, she's not a random addition to the cast of Overwatch. She's something that's at the center of the story for part 2. So we juggled it a lot. Should we release her early and kind of diminish this part of her story, or power through our development and wait till it's the right time to release her, which we believe is Overwatch 2. This is because that's where we had connected her originally, That's the impact we wanted to share with people. And so everyone on the team was super, it's how important this character was for Overwatch, for the community, for the world, to make sure we made her as fun as possible. She has this deep, rich story that people can relate to. We were inspired by a lot of different as we drew concepts for her, different actresses. Angela Bassett is one who comes to mind. Serena Williams for the body type,
Oh
and
my God, you mentioned
the
Angela
agility of
Bassett.
her.
Yeah.
Gina King from especially the Watchmen series that she did.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
These were things that
Okay.
started to help develop where we wanted to go with Sojourn over the years. And Black Panther, obviously, another cast of
Of
strong
course, yeah.
African American females.
Yes.
So it's our turn to add a strong lead to our game,
Yeah.
and making her a commander, so she has friendships with a lot of the original members of Overwatch. So you'll see this along the way as we kind of release a little more details throughout the betas.
No, that's fantastic.
On the gameplay side, actually, too, just to chime in here, it's like, a lot of what we try to do is when we're creating the character. So the process is a little weird. So we start with like a prototype. I think I mentioned this before, but like when we're
Sure.
we're working usually a lot earlier than even we know what the character is. In this case, actually, we did know, but sometimes we don't even know, and we're just sort of like trying different weapons or pile of mechanics, and we just take art that already exists because we don't have any art or anything. We try to figure it out.
Right.
But with her case, actually, we did know a little bit more, who she was and everything, because she's been sort of integrated in the story for quite a while now. And at least internally, I guess.
Internally, yes.
Sadly, sorry about that, but it's coming. But so we try to, we're making a hero for the game. We're trying to make, of course, make the hero really fun, but we also want to make sure that the hero feels like what you're playing is something that the hero would do, because so hopefully that has come across in the past, and you look at heroes like Junkrat or something, he's just super crazy, and every time he dies, just like random bombs fly out because he just has loose bombs. Apparently, he doesn't care, and like
It's a madman. It happens.
yeah, exactly.
So
Widowmaker's like cold and calculated, and Tracer is super fast with everything. She has fast fire rate, fast reload, and she moves fast, so her cooldowns are lower than everybody else's, stuff like that. So you try to get that vibe. So I think what you see with Sojourn is, she's a leader and she's very calculated. She plans everything she does. She's, very sort of mindful of everything. So when you play her, she's kind of, I guess, the opposite of Junkrat in that way, where she's like, the railgun is this a move you have to plan to know what you want to do to use it. So it's like kind of just firing it randomly is a little bit of a waste. So a lot of times when you're playing her, you're charging up your gun off the shield or something to go after a support, or so you have some plan in mind, hopefully, once you get playing her for a little bit. Also, I don't know, maybe this is just me, I'm a little crazy when I play her sometimes, but she's got that slide as we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
As part of that slide, she can also jump up really high. As you can kind of cancel it, jump up really high, which we also saw there. So you can use that to escape, which is probably what you should do most of the time if you're going to jump. However, you can also use it to dive into the enemy team and probably get yourself killed. But if you can actually get a great shot and jump over a Reinhardt shield or something like that and try to pick somebody off, or hopefully land in a spot where you're safe at some other angle, then I feel like in a lot of ways when I'm doing that, I'm sort of like pushing my team, like leading my team, like, look, I'm making a play, let's go. It's almost like a tank move at that point in a way.
Right.
So I some of that really helps with her sort of leadership and like sort of forward pushing the team and everything. I think it's come across really well.
I mean, fortune favors the bold. I'm not running. I'm diving in. I think
I just taught everyone to play Sojourn really, really poorly.
I play Overwatch really poorly, so I mean, you're not teaching me anything new. But I'm gonna feel so sorry for whatever pocket decides to dive in with me. But actually, speaking on gameplay, that actually was a fantastic way to. That was a fantastic segue, because as we've seen in the gameplay, Sojourn tends to really reward DPS players. Basically who can adjust very quickly, because it just seems like, based on what we've seen, her gameplay is very quick. She's very fast. She can sprint. She can jump. She has a very powerful gun. So it seems the main goal, like you mentioned many times before, just to have a railgun inspired kit. And I feel like that this was probably meant to be another option besides hit scan and projectile. And I know this was mentioned, I think, back in BlizzCon Online, I want to say maybe a year ago, when you guys were speaking about her. Do you think this might be an issue, though? Because I know some casual players, maybe casual players like myself, who tend to be a little less DPS heavy, or maybe more seasoned players who are used to hit scan and projectile. What can you tell us about that sort of adjustment period they may have to adapt to in order to use Sojourn to the maximum ability?
It's kind of a maybe weird way to start this answer, but I kind of hope it's an issue, not
Yes.
like in a bad way,
Yeah.
but I kind of like
Yes.
to push people and
Trial by
trying
fire.
to trying different styles. And I think
Mhm.
maybe a better way to put that is if you like both hit scan and projectile weapons, or you're good with both, you can really show off with Sojourn, because she does have kind of a mix of both.
Mm.
It's not completely uncommon. In some ways, actually, I haven't thought of this before, just saying it right now, but in some ways, she's sort of like the inverse of Soldier 76, where he's got the hit scan primary and sort of a projectile alternate on a
Mhm.
cooldown, where she's kind
Mhm.
of the inverse of that. So there's a little bit of that going on, but of course, there's a little more weight on that hit scan shot. You really got to hit those. We have found that she can be very feast or famine is maybe some of the
Mm.
concerns we've had, where we'll get feedback from somebody where it's like, man, she's super overpowered, like I just jump in and I just kill everybody, and then that same
Mhm.
person will come back like a week later, or whenever the next playtest, like, never mind, she's she's not that good. If you don't hit your shots, I can't kill anybody, so she doesn't do any
That's
damage.
fair.
So it's like, I think, especially if you're a person who really uh, likes to nail those really important shots or get those really key picks, or especially rewarding aim skill and practice, I think you can get a lot of fun and value out of Sojourn's kit.
Yeah,
Awesome.
to touch on a little bit of what Jeff is saying, we had a playtest once where Ana nano boosted Sojourn. Zarya
Oh
bubbled
God.
everyone, and she just picked off the team, and we were like, "What is this?" It was such a
Oh
crazy
no.
combination of things,
Oh
and you
my
get the team
gosh.
kill. Feels great, maybe overpowered,
She's really good with Nano, for sure. She's
Yes.
really good with Nano.
I'm
Ugh.
like, this is
Oh
amazing.
That
no.
just made my stomach
Oh
hurt.
no. That's oh no.
Yeah. The
Okay. Yep.
circumstances, everybody was low on health, and it was
Oh
awesome.
my gosh. Clean up.
Well, that was the end of that fight. Okay, cool. I think we'll be fine.
It's like,
You actually
so
found
how
her.
do we counter that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Jeff
we would
has
be
to
sitting here
counter
like
that.
She's
yeah, we
pretty
would be
good
sitting
with, like, she kind of thrives off that chaos, I think. Like, she's pretty
right.
good with paired with like a wrecking ball, or like an ulting Winston on her team, or something that's just causing chaos, and so they
Mhm.
Oh my
can't really
gosh.
like try to get LOS or try to avoid her primary fire to like build up, or just try to avoid her in any way. If she gets kind of free reign to take the shots that she wants, she's pretty deadly, to say the least.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. No,
Plus with that
that's
movement, she's you lose sight on her for like 2
That's true.
seconds, and then next thing you know, she's on top of you shooting you.
yep.
Man,
Bye.
when you charge up that railgun shot and you get like a somebody hides from you or something because they know you're charged up, and you just slide around the corner and take that
Yeah.
shot while you're
Like, hey,
sliding, it's one of the
peekaboo.
most satisfying things in the game, I swear.
Oh
Even
my
getting
gosh.
shot, you're like, I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, it's like,
That was
fine,
that was
I
a
guess.
YouTube highlight material.
I think that's what's great about her design. It's like normally there's something to be said about raging if you just keep getting dominated by somebody who's better than you or is more skilled at the character than you. But I feel like Sojourn is going to be one of those few characters where if you get killed by her, you're just like, all right, well, there was nothing I can do about that.
You have to
That's
respect
fine.
it.
You have to respect it. So that's
Like,
totally
you
fine.
got that.
Yep. I think I have a more straightforward question now in regards to her design, because the first thing we notice is that she's very cybernetic, probably more so than a lot of the other characters in the game. Um, what inspired that? Like, what was it inspired the fact that she was more cybernetic rather than being completely enhancement free?
Right. That's a great question. Kind of what Jeff mentioned. When we start designing a hero, especially in Sojourn case, we knew the character for a while, but she didn't
Mm-hmm.
quite have the cybernetics yet. We start to see
Mm-hmm.
her abilities come online. Overwatch takes place in the future, and one of the things about Overwatch is that we kind of aspire to a different depiction of the world where cybernetics or prosthetic implants aren't considered like a disability, basically, at this point in the
Mm.
Overwatch universe. And you'll find as we learn more about Toronto, especially if you walk around the level, if you, I think you can load it up in custom game and actually walk around the environment. Toronto has become a city that is at the forefront of implants and artificial devices to help people.
Oh
And
wow!
this is where Sojourn's from, right?
Right.
So, obviously, without spoiling too much of how she ended up where she is, she she obviously Toronto, her connection to that, Toronto being this place in the Overwatch universe that's basically leading prosthetic implants, cybernetic additions to
Enhancements.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see on a
Okay.
lot of our heroes, there's some missing part. It's so
Okay.
common that you
Yeah.
forget sometimes that Cassidy is missing an arm, or
Yeah.
Symmetra has a missing arm.
Torbjorn. I think
Torbjorn is
yeah.
I
missing
like
an arm,
Junkrat. Junkrat's my favorite
Junkrat's
because
missing a
He's
leg.
missing a leg.
He just
He's
said,
got the peg. He
he
lives
said,
it.
screw it.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever.
But we
That's what I
wanted to
want.
feel like it's not a disability, basically,
And the funny thing is that you mentioned that, and I do appreciate the fact that throughout at least this game, that enhancements and, like you mentioned, what would consider to be disabilities now, it's a natural part of life in the future, which
Right.
I think is often overlooked in the lore. Because especially now more than ever, especially with the world we live in, um, it's just very important to know that, needing these enhancements doesn't make you any different than anybody who doesn't need them. It doesn't make you any better. It doesn't make you any worse. It still makes you human. So it actually is a fantastic theme that's been long running and then that I think a lot of people don't really touch upon. So that's really interesting because, again, especially me, Cassidy's cybernetic arm, Torbjorn's like claw hand, Sojourn being practically cybernetic for like 90% of her body, it seemed normal to me. It didn't
Yeah,
seem like
right.
anything out of this world. It didn't seem like anything that wasn't achievable. So that's really a fascinating thing to understand. And it's kind of humbling to see the care that you took in making sure that that's a normal thing about the world, especially with the themes of humans versus omnics, who are
Right.
practically robots. So tying all of that together is just very interesting to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think if you get a chance, jump in a custom game and walk around Toronto. You can see some of the advertisements and things in that kind of hint at this kind of advancement in implants. Yeah.
Wow. And Toronto's at the forefront. I feel like that's a lot. That's some lore that's some lore. Like I wish I had a proper description as to how incredible that is. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
my goodness,
excited
that's
to go
great.
and see how the Toronto map compares to reality, and then how it kind of, as you mentioned, differs to accommodate this new type of prosthetic builds that are coming out. So even in the from what we've played already and from what we've seen, I wasn't able to spend enough time walking through the map and looking
Yeah.
around and trying to see if I saw any like
Having
little,
tours.
something looking
Right.
like a Tim Hortons or something
No,
like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the details. We want them to feel normal. That's the goal. It's
Yeah.
not to
No,
stand
that's
out so much. It's
fantastic.
become the norm, So
No, that's fantastic. And
we
it
need
worked
more of
because
that everywhere, right?
yeah, believe that. So I know a lot of the times, and I know chat is wondering, everybody's wondering, community is wondering, and it's been mentioned before, but it's been over 2 years since Sojourn, over 2 years since the announcement of Overwatch 2. So in terms of like the PvP release, can you just briefly talk about the challenges you faced dealing with a completely understandably restless player base? Because honestly, a lot of us were just, you've seen it on Twitter, you've seen it on social media, and it's completely understandable. I mean, I'm generally a patient person. I know there's 99% of the time there's a reason why this stuff happens, and it's
Mhm.
usually out of the dev's control. So I know, at least on my end, I can be restless, but I understand. So can you give us a little insight as to what it was like being challenged in that way?
Sure. I mean, certainly on our side, she's a hero we've worked on for quite a while. She was actually kind of the first hero we were working on as far as like Overwatch 2 and 5v5 and kind of changing everything around. And it's kind of hard to make a new hero in a world that's almost like making a new hero for like one of the first heroes in Overwatch 1 when we didn't know the Overwatch 1 game was going to be. Our first heroes were like Tracer and Pharah, Widowmaker, and I can't remember the other one is. But it's hard to know exactly how it's going to play out. So there was a lot of challenges there in figuring out how powerful she really needs to be, what kind of tools she needs to have in a world where there's one less tank, and we hadn't quite done the crowd control thing yet, where we reduced all the crowd control, but we knew that was going to be a thing too. So it was difficult to get there, and I think we were hopeful that thinking about the timeline that it wasn't going to take as long as it did. Unfortunately, I mean, I think we're really sorry that it took so long. Honestly, I think Aaron put
Right.
out that message that that definitely wasn't a plan, and we're really looking forward to getting back into it and really getting more updates out to everybody more frequently, like kind of like it has been in the past. So, but for her, we actually at one point we literally talked about it. It was like, okay, this is
Disgusting.
taking a
Yeah.
little longer than we thought. Like, is this possible? We can push this as a live hero? And it was sort of like, maybe it would take a lot of time because we'd have to kind of almost not really rebuild her. It wouldn't have to be like a full rework, like um, like some other Overwatch 2 full reworks have been, but it would take considerable effort. And also, she's so integrated so carefully, as we've said many times, and so centerpiece to Overwatch 2 and everything Overwatch 2
Mm-hmm.
is. So it felt a little disingenuous to put out early on that side too. So we decided not to in that case, and I think ultimately the game will be better for it. It's fortunate that everyone had a little more patience than we wanted.
Yeah.
But I think she's worth the wait personally.
I personally appreciated us waiting too. I felt it was important to this character to make sure we gave her the spotlight she needed. Um, Also, there's a bit of the engine upgrades. That's what
Right.
Jeff was touching on.
Mm,
She was built for Overwatch 2, so there will
right.
be some sort of conversion to get her back into Overwatch 1. Yeah, so I think we made the best decision for this hero. And we're here now. I'm glad we're here now.
We
Yeah,
made
we
it.
made it.
Yeah,
We won. We did
we made
It's worth it.
it.
No, we did it. No, but I think we're gonna get into something a little more deep here. Now that I was just like, we made it, we done it. Um, and I know that this is going to be a tough question, but it's something that needs to be said. It's something that needs to be acknowledged because at the end of the day, Sojourn is the first Black female hero in the game. She's Afro Canadian. She, it's going to be a thing, and it's going to be a stepping stone for the community, and it's going to show who we are as a community and what we do with her as a result. And it is a cultural moment for a lot of players, and it's important for us in the Black community to see that representation. And I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me. I know a lot of people are going to say some rather asinine things, and it's completely okay. I mean, I'm sure people are saying some asinine things right now just by me being here. But at this end of the day, it's just an important day to promote equality and to promote real diversity in video games, which has been so lacking. And what can you tell us about doing that? I know you've mentioned this, touched on this before, but I think specifically as her being a Black woman, um, how do you keep her authentic? Because I know in this day and age, it's so easy to make her stereotype. It's so
Right.
easy to make her what people know about Black women, what people know about them, and just give her a weapon and have her be on her merry way.
Yeah, right.
How were you able to keep her as an authentic Afro Canadian? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is something we definitely studied a lot, and part of what we've been talking about today, why it was important to wait to make sure we could celebrate this character correctly, before you don't rush her out with our development. Um, that was taking a little bit longer. Um,
Mm.
Sojourn is obviously a very positive addition to the game because she's a good guy, and we we looked at a lot of different people that we were inspired by. I mentioned it earlier about some of the actresses and entertainment people that kind of helped define this character, and we knew there was this gap in our roster. There's a gap in the game industry in general. You don't see a strong Black female African American hero character. That's you know part of our goal is, we mentioned earlier, not to make her random. She is a connected, deep hero for the game that players hopefully will have a shared, they can relate to, and just have fun playing this hero. It's a tough thing that when we couldn't bring her out, it took us 6 years to get there.
Yeah.
Personally on the team,
Yeah.
we were struggling with this. How it felt like Overwatch was that game that we had the diversity that people were looking for in our heroes, and we were missing this one factor of an African American female hero. So I hope players will see now that she's out, the care that the team has placed in this hero to make sure she resonates with a lot of people. She opens this window for more African American female heroes to join Overwatch as well as other games. Um, yeah, I think you will see that she should be a very positive addition to the culture and the industry at the same time.
And I have to say that is something that is appreciated because of the fact that yes, that has been something that the community has been asking for quite
Hmm.
some time, as you mentioned. Um, and I think that was kind of something that was I know was playing in the back of my head. I'm like, I know I really hope that once we do finally get a black woman in the game, that it doesn't just feel like it was just put together or just
Right. Yeah.
thrown together just to, check that box. So
Mhm.
um to see that she was part of the Omnic crisis and she was
Hmm.
fighting at that time and she was part of the story not just later in the game but from those early significant moments that we all know about. um I think that was really important to me.
Right. Yeah, you'll find there's a few heroes we place in the game. They have a light story, a light connection.
Hmm.
This is why it was super important that we didn't do this to Sojourn. We wanted to have this, make sure she was very impactful to the game's universe, basically, and so players would see this and hopefully inspire other people to make more heroes like Sojourn.
Mm.
It's we found it very fun, and we definitely were challenged with the timeline. We knew this was painful to wait so long, and our game means a lot to a lot of different people. It means a lot to us. Um, so I think everyone on the team who were involved in Sojourn understood this care that we needed to do with this hero, so that it could hit the right way. If we were to just drop her randomly within, Overwatch 1, does it hit the same? So I
Right.
think this is the right timing for this.
And I also want to make clear, I know that this is a topic that not a lot of people are going to want to speak about. And I know this is something that not a lot of players want to talk about because, again, it is a very hot topic and it is an
Hmm.
issue that many people feel as if should not belong in a game like this. But I want to make clear, especially with a game like Overwatch and a game like Overwatch 2, there is a thing to be said about representation. Like you
Yes, right.
have white characters, you have East Indian characters, you have Asian characters, you have everyone there, and you can speak about how much of a quote unquote minority we are, and it's completely fine. If you want to talk numbers, fine. But the fact of the matter is you want to attract more people to the game. You want to
Yes,
attract
right.
more people to play the game. And if people don't see themselves represented in that game, they're not going to play it. Obviously, Kiki and I are exceptions because we just love this game so damn much. Like, this
Thank
game
you.
changed our lives, you know? So we want to give it the respect it deserves. But of course, we can't help but think that we were woefully underrepresented. And
Hmm.
it brings me to one of my final questions that's going to be deep. So if you guys aren't into it, sorry, I'm asking them. It's just the way it is. This is what you get for having a black woman host, so you're going to enjoy it. But frankly, Malcolm X once said, and unfortunately, people may be proving it, the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. He
Hmm.
said this, and it's true. And even Sojourn being Canadian, they still apply to her, and it's going to
Hmm.
happen. And the fact is, even as people are talking about, well, we want to see her gameplay, we want to see it, and I completely understand that, and I'm not going to disregard that concern. I want people to see her. I want people, and you will see her play. But I want people to understand that this is more than that to a lot of people because we don't want superiority, we want equality. And
Right.
so, especially with Dion, who's worked in this industry for over a decade and probably has to deal with this the worst out of everyone here, I just want to make sure you guys understand that they've worked hard on this. This is not
Hmm.
me. This is me being objective right now. And so I want to ask you, Dion, personally, how this has affected you, like creating her, knowing this
Hmm.
and knowing the pressure and knowing how you mentioned how it took so long to develop her because you wanted to avoid this kind of thing. And I know with Jeff,
Right.
like designing her weapons and her kit, like I imagine you kept that in mind as well to make sure
Hmm.
she's a unique
Definitely.
She's as
figure.
cool as possible. Yeah.
Right. So I want to hear your take on this, Dion, especially because I know a lot of people are not going to want to see this as, a racial thing, even though it is a racial thing. I hate to break it to y'all. It's a racial thing, but it's about equality. It's not about
Right.
pushing anyone else away. It's not, pushing white people away, pushing people. It's not about that. We just want our seat at the table, especially when there's so much cake to be had, you know?
Hmm.
Right.
So yeah, I'd love your input on this.
Yeah, ultimately, I want to make something that my family's proud of too, and the team as
Mm,
well. So this was a key to, she couldn't be random. It had to be a hero that if I shared it with other, my family, my brother, my mom,
Mm.
they would say I did the work or our team did the work to make this hero something that's very visible. There's other things that we need to do better at is obviously our promotional work. She's going to be the forefront of a lot of Overwatch 2. That visibility will help community see how important this character is to the company, the team, the game. Myself, I want to be more visible for the game so that people can see there's much more opportunities out there for people in my community, Black people and African Americans. African American woman, obviously my mom. I want to make sure the character's respected by my mom. And
I
the
see your mom
team had
judging
a
you now
shared
like
vision
she
on
better.
this. Not just about my mom, but the team had a shared vision on how important this hero meant to not just this game, but the industry, the world. Obviously Overwatch reaches a lot of people, and you touched on it. We have a lot of various groups in it. We missed this one. We didn't, but it was important to do this one right. We will be able to add more along the way. We always have a ton of ideas for heroes, but it was important that the first African American woman, she was a strong lead. It felt super impactful for the game. So me personally, it was something we protected as we developed this hero. There's a lot of challenges in development that can make you deviate from this path. We stayed the course. We tried to make sure that the importance of this hero, when she arrived, it could resonate with as many people as possible. And we want the cast to be super diverse, and we'll start to use these heroes more visible within our marketing and within how we talk about the game and develop new kind of imagery for the work so people can see themselves in the work that we're sharing, basically. Yeah, so I'm it's kind of a big moment for me personally too, because the cast, I do love the cast of Overwatch, but this was that missing piece that really starts to fill in some of the areas that a lot more players can join in. It's easy to forget that the goal of the game is to reach as many people as possible, and if we're not celebrating that with as many communities as we can, are we doing it right? So
Right.
it's something we're constantly improving. uh, I hope my mom is proud of Sojourn.
Aww.
Uh,
No, that's
so
lovely.
yeah, and I hope you guys see as we do release more information and content about Sojourn, how much work the team has put into her. I can't say it enough that it taken us too long, but that's because it was a part of a very detailed, rich, like connection to the game. So in a perfect world, it would have happened pretty rapidly, but you'll see it should be pretty fun to see where we go with her next.
Oh yeah.
No, that's fair. That was really lovely to hear. I think that actually leads us to our final question, which I'll probably adapt a little bit. I
Okay.
think to each of you, since you guys have each been touched by this character in variety of ways, just from each of you, how is Sojourn significant to you right now? And it could be in anything. It could be just her culture. It could just be her character design. It could be anything. Just to each of you, how is she significant to you? And especially to Dion and to Kiki, because as being Black people, like obviously we won, but I know all of you had a hand in just experiencing her. So, how important is she to you?
Yeah, I go really quick. So a lot of the marketing artwork I've worked on personally. So it's kind of fun, I've been in the game industry a while. I've been working on a lot of artwork. It's been a very consistent looking artwork. Finally, I got a chance to work on something that obviously I can be more connected to. I've worked on various things along the way, but this was really good because the companies behind it, the teams behind it, like we're we're gonna have our marketing art that is solely on Sojourn. This is fun to work on. Doing the lighting, working on the textures. The character artist Paul that worked on Sojourn, he did an amazing job of studying different women and African American actresses to kind of help define the look of it, and he would always reach out and talk. We just have the feedback from the team already, about her hair and getting it right. Paul,
I'm
the
glad for
character
that.
modeler, he really did a great job of trying to capture the nappiness to the hair and the culture. So this is fun things to talk about as artists on the team, you know, and it's not a common thing, but it's starting to become very common on our team. You'll see some of the effort that went into Sojourn was applied to Lucio in Overwatch 2. His hair is now much more natural
I
looking,
did
much more
notice that.
culturally
Yeah.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Baptiste, artist on our team, Hong, worked on Baptiste 2.0, and his hair, we start to really connect with the hero. So as an artist, this is fun to start digging in on this. There's hairstyles that are very easy to do.
Yeah.
Blizzard has been putting a lot of effort in researching ethnic hair and culturally correct hair. So this takes time to get it right, and we hope that we actually lead the pack in getting African American hair right. It's been too long, you know.
Oh, it's been so long. I've been
So
seeing some
I
jacked up
touch on that
hair.
because that's one of the fun parts of working on Sojourn is we're starting to get into these areas that are not common to build as artists, you know.
No, that's honestly fair.
Yeah.
What about
I
you,
guess I'll-
Kiki? Oh, you're Jeff. Go ahead.
No,
I was
you
gonna
go.
say, let
You
Jeff
go.
go
Hey, you're
first.
host.
I was trying to go down the line, but I'm like, I
Yeah.
guess, you know, but we can do counterclockwise. It's
Oh, we're all
okay.
random now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. What were you gonna say, Jeff?
Oh, okay, sure. I mean, sort of touch on, or obviously the sort of everything you guys have been saying. Yeah, that's been a major part for us. And you know, for me, I think all I can really do is to sort of understand that, like, I don't have that sort of, you know, background and, you know, everything, and just make sure that, you know, unconscious bias is a thing, and you have to make sure that that's not something you fall into, and make sure that you lean on those who have more experience and understand things. So I think that's the most important thing on our side, or at least for me personally, I guess, given
No, for sure.
pretty much the opposite as it were, as it could possibly be from Sojourn, I suppose.
No, for sure.
But on a significant note for her and for the game as well, I think, you know, obviously players are well aware we haven't released a hero in a long time. People are quoting exact days and possibly hours at this point since the last
Seconds,
time we released
maybe.
a hero.
Minutia.
So I hope this you know, this is the start of a show of us kind of return to form as a full commitment to the community and support of Overwatch and Overwatch community and all our fans.
Awesome. And then finally, Afro-Canadian herself.
You know what I'm gonna say.
All right, go ahead, say
love
it, girl, say it.
In terms of representation, the nail was hit on the head for me. I know it's very personal, but as a Black woman in Toronto, born and raised in Toronto, with locks, like I've for I don't know how long I've been talking about, you know, wanting a Black woman in these games, wanting to be able to play somebody and actually feel like you could picture yourself in that role playing that game, whether it be Overwatch, whether it be other games. But so to have her come in and for this to happen, as you could see from the questions, like I want to know her backstory. I want to know how she came to be in Canada, because like Black people aren't necessarily native to Canada. So I want to know like where her parents came from, how she got to be here. Yeah, I just want to know so much more. I want to see all her different skins. I want to see if maybe she has something that, you know, maybe I would wear. Like,
Yeah.
like I want
we have some cool stuff in store. Yeah.
I'm excited to hear her voice lines. I want to hear a little bit of Toronto slang in there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so excited.
No,
I
that's
cannot
awesome.
wait.
And Toronto has a bit of multiculturalism too, right?
Yep,
in real life,
a lot.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Kiki, like especially like in terms of Toronto representation and, you know, Canadian representation. I was wondering how you felt about that, especially since
And that's why I kind of, sorry to cut you off. That's why
No,
I
go
kind
ahead.
of wanted to know about her backstory, because I know that as soon as I saw she was from Canada, I knew there had to be that wasn't the end of it. It's not like you can say, oh, somebody like Doomfist is from Nigeria. Okay, we know that his parents are probably from there too. You can kind of see you can kind of follow that train. When it comes to a Black woman in Canada, my parents are not from Canada. My mom is from Barbados. My father is from Jamaica. Even when it comes to my partner, Jamaican and Ghanaian. So it's like as much as Toronto and Canada is has all these different cultures, has all these different ethnicities, people from all over the world, our stories didn't start here. They started somewhere else, and that's what I want to know. That's where I want to see her story develop and
Hmm.
really get into that lore and see maybe if there are crossovers with we saw in the trailer, but maybe there are more crossovers with other characters. Like I really it's more than just a character for me. It's more than just a Black woman. I'm actually like invested in knowing
Yeah,
like
it's awesome.
how much of these lines overlap. Like already she's from Toronto, I'm from Toronto, we have locks, like we're Black. Like I want to know what else. Those are the
Kind of want
surface level
more.
the surface level similarities. I want to know. I want to go further. I want to know more.
Awesome. Yeah.
Sorry for rambling, but you guys know how I feel about this.
Um, the character modeler for Sojourn's from Toronto as well.
And that's what I wanted to ask as well. If they were from Toronto,
Yes.
if people actually came and hung out in Toronto to make sure that they got that map done just right, so that if you're from Toronto, you actually can be like, wait, I remember being over there, or that looks like somewhere
Hmm.
that you can actually picture it. So I'm
Right.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I cannot
Sorry to
wait.
touch on Toronto a little bit more. Uh,
Please.
there's quite a few people on the team from Toronto, and you probably know Toronto is kind of a city that's used to represent other cities. So when
Hmm.
we took on Toronto, we
Mm.
wanted to, how do we make this look super cool? Like like take the Toronto we know of today, make it this aspirational, futuristic city that advances it. It's not just a city that can represent Chicago, New York, in movies and films.
Yep.
So hopefully this comes across that we put a lot of effort. There's quite a few people on the team and off the team at Blizzard that were from Toronto who contributed to the look of Toronto.
That is
And
that is amazing.
yeah,
I love that. I want to meet these people. I want to talk to them. I want to pick their brains.
yeah, Paul is an amazing character artist. That he's from Toronto. Went deep dive on Sojourn. He was
Oh my
awesome
Aw.
gosh, I
developing
love
her.
it.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's the perfect way to end it. Do you guys have any final words? Anything you want to say to the community? Because I know they're going to continue to be restless until the next
Yeah,
live stream, at least.
yeah.
that's their
So,
job.
is there anything else you guys want to say? Anything you want to let them know about? Because I think
Uh,
Sombra has just now hacked my camera, so I think that's the alarm
Sovereign.
clock.
Awesome. I'll just jump in and say just thank you, everybody. Thank for all
Hmm.
our fans. Thanks for everybody for playing. Thanks for watching us, but thanks also for your patience. I know, again, like I said, this has been a little longer than we wanted, certainly, but great things are still to come.
Yeah, and it's the same. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for having us today. And we have the betas coming up. Players will get a chance to see a bit more of Sojourn in action, and I hope you guys have fun and just look out for more.
Kiki, any signing off words?
I thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking the time and holding space, and also just I hope that we see more of this. I know a lot of people in the community will talk about, that lack of communication for so long.
Right? Yes.
Um so I I've seen some improvements even with this, as I'm not sure how much we can say about it, but we've
Yeah.
there have definitely I've felt a difference in the amount of communication and care, it feels like, that is being put in, and that is being made to communicate with you guys and with the community. So I think that that's very important, especially since we didn't hear much of anything for
I
so long.
know.
So
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that is a huge goal for the team. We will be much more communicative now. We're going to communicate as much as possible. But we want to keep some surprises along the way. So
Yep.
Yeah, it's tricky.
it's tricky, but we're not going to be silent. We will
Leave us
definitely
some
communicate
crumbs.
much,
Leave
much
us
more.
just some little, a little something.
And
But
thank you
yes,
guys.
thank you. Thank you so much. I really do
Thank you.
appreciate it.
That's fantastic. But thank you guys ever so much for being on this live stream. We really appreciate that. I know, chat, you guys want to see some gameplay, but guess what? The beta's in 2 weeks. You don't have to wait that much longer.
That's
I know
true.
you guys have been so patient. I know you guys have wanted it, but believe me, you will get some gameplay. We promise you. You got to be a little more patient. You're over the hump now. Okay.
Yeah.
But thank
And
you
we're
so
here
much.
just excited as you.
Yeah,
We're-
we waiting too. We waiting too. We being patient. All right. So don't worry. We feel your pain. We feel you. We understand. You want some more. You will get it. Just wait 2 more weeks. The beta's out April 26th, I believe, right?
26th,
April 26th.
Yep.
The beta will be out. That is 2 more weeks. You guys can make it. I promise. So with that, we are going to end this live stream. We wish we could give you more, but you're going to get it soon anyway. So just wait a couple more weeks and you'll get what you asked for. So thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Thank you to Kiki. Thank you to Dion. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you for everyone in the community for being so patient. And with my cat, Sombra, and for the rest of the Overwatch team and for everyone here, we're signing off. And just remember, the world could always use more heroes.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
guys.